So that was a big success, though. I mean, that you produced that record, and it was a huge commercial success.
Yes, it was. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Did you have any action on that, or is
that's the one thing I still get royalties on.
you do? Oh, great. That's good.
Yeah. So I mean, of any significance, because all the stuff I did at Columbia was royalty free, because I was an employee.
Right. And did you hear they just released that in mono again? They released the mono mix
Of
Cheap
Cheap
Thrills.
Thrills.
Yeah. It's better.
I'll bet it is.
Much better. They put it out on vinyl. It sounds great.
Well,
I played it last night too.
Well,
It's because it's compacted.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like this whole big thing.
crazy, yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. To interrupt.
That's okay. So I also was producing the Electric Flag when I was in California, recording Big Brother in the daytime, and at night, I'm sorry, Electric Flag during the daytime.
The first album?
The second album, after
Second.
Mike Bloomfield left, yeah. Well, featuring Buddy Miles and the
Right.
rest. So I had sort of joined the Electric Flag at that time because it was fun to play with them. They didn't have a piano player because Barry Goldberg had left. So
Wow, so you were in a band, you were playing in a band, you were producing.
I was doing everything.
You were adding instruments to other records, playing other records. Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't married anymore, so everything was fine.
That's what I thought this was.
Yeah. So
I'll cut that out too.
That's all right. You can put that in there. I mean, I didn't have a family. I was living out of a suitcase in
Right.
California.
Right.
So at the Chateau Marmont Hotel.
Wow, nice place to be.
Yeah, crazy place. And so anyway, there I am, and we're doing Bobby Hebb's song "Sunny,"
Right.
the Electric Flag, and I'm there playing away, playing my part. And when it's over, I look up and there's Taj, you know, leaning on the piano, looking on, listening to me play. And I'd never met Taj before, and he said, "Hey, you know, groovy, groovy." And that subsequently led a few months later to Taj's man calling me up and saying, "You want to go on tour with Taj in Europe in a quartet?" And I said, "You bet." Because I knew the blues intellectually, I didn't know it viscerally, didn't have it in my gut, in my vocabulary, in my palate. I wanted to immerse myself in that.
Yeah. Now
So
you already played on the Cheap Thrills album.
well, that's coming up.
Okay.
So the very same
wasn't
day,
that bad.
that Taj came in and did that, Janice comes in later on, the same, because their sessions at night in the
Right.
same adjacent studio right across the hall. "What are you doing playing piano, motherfucker?" I said, "Well, I'm sort of joining this band for the time." "You didn't play piano on my record, you dipshit, you know." I said, "Well, you're a self-contained band." She said, "You're playing piano on my record, you bastard." So I went in there, and she wants to do this song called Turtle Blues.
Right.
And like I said, I knew nothing about playing the blues. I only knew it intellectually. You know, it's a flatted third and a flatted seventh, and that's all I knew. And so I played terribly. I thought Turtle Blues is an embarrassment for me.
It's not that bad.
People,
Internally, for you it is, but people on the outside.
People come and say, "Oh man, I love that Turtle Blues," and they also say something else that I did that's an embarrassment. That was a mistake too. But anyway, so I ended up playing on Turtle Blues in her album, and then we continued to make that album, which, as you know, is a bogusly in-person album, but has its moments.
Yeah.
And she, she was difficult as she was to work with. She had a good instrument for what she did, and she was also, one thing that bugged me about it was she was unoriginal. And I had a conversation with Betty Levette, the blues singer, last month about that. She said, "Man, all us black blues singers, we hated Janis Joplin. We didn't do that on all our lives. We don't make any money like she made from it,
What else is there?
Yeah, right. Yeah, but it's absolutely true.
Yeah,
And that's one of the things I did. That's not one of the faults I found with Janis, was that she would rehearse screams and say, "Here's my Tina Turner scream. Ah, here's my Big Mama Thornton scream. Ah, which one should I use in this spot?
Right.
How's that for spontaneous? Not
cynical.
Yeah. Well, I don't think she was doing it out of respect, not out of
right.
But it just wasn't the real deal.
And that was a period of time when the races were still pretty separate musically. The main audience, white with one of your white.
Yeah, you were trying to do things like Spy. We're breaking the
it was breaking.
They were integrated bands, So that was that, and that got. Then the next thing after that was the band.
And you came back to this area.
I came back. I was living in New York City on Perry Street, and a bachelor. And Robbie invited me up to Woodstock to hear the band, and I went up a couple times, and he didn't play me anything. All they had were, they had those basement tapes, and they had nothing else recorded. And then finally, I showed up after 3 or 4 visits, and Levon had just shown up the day before. He had been down and working on an oil rig in
Now,
Louisiana.
you're doing that on your own dime. You're going out there spending your time there. You're
Yeah.
not hired. They just were feeling you out. I mean,
Yeah. I don't know if they. I don't know if they ever hired me, and I don't know whose dime it was. I mean, the deal with Albert was he never had a contract.
oh great.
If you needed money, you'd say, Albert, I need money, and he'd give you a check.
See,
Yeah, which has led to all kinds of terrible things in my life since then. But things I don't lose sleep over because I have an ulcer the size of Manhattan. if I did.
you can't.
Yeah, that's it.
It's just what it is. But to be part of that history is a great thing. Whatever
right.
that's worth to you.
Yeah, that's right. So they played me live. We went down in the basement of Big Pink, and they played me live. And Levon played for Levon too, because he didn't know the tunes. Richard was playing the drums.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6 songs, and then we started working on them. And I'm an arranger, basically, so I would add my 2 cents, like that accent at the beginning of Tears of Rage, bum ba dum dum, that accent right there, that rhythm, which Robbie told me later on. Eric Clapton couldn't figure that accent out. He wanted me to explain to him. I said, John thought it up. So,
I mean, that's a different sounding. That record is different than anything ever. It's like it came out. First time you play that record, it's like, what is that?
Right. It wasn't slick at all. It was real. I mean, it was real.
And it was
down
slow.
home country, and it was slow and easy. Yeah, we started off with Tears of Rage, which is slow,
Yeah.
instead of a big bombastic number like
Yeah.
most people started off with.
Yeah.
Big opener. And Robbie was very much responsible for that. He set the tone. It was his band. Even though the friction between him and Levon came from the fact that it was Levon's band at first.
Yeah.
After they split from Ronnie Hawkins, but Robbie sort of took it over as a vehicle for his abilities. And Robbie learned a lot from Bob Dylan and songwriting,
Sure.
and being around that. And so when we all learn, those of us who want to learn from doing and experimenting, And so then we went in the city, and we to this very same studio, A1, the one studio I knew, and we cut Tears of Rage, and We Can Talk About It Now, and Chest Fever, and something else, and The Wait. And The Wait was something I hadn't even heard that song before.
Wow.
It was not one that we'd ever worked on. We just pulled it out because we had some time left over, and that became the signature song of the band.
Sure.
It was the only one that Levon sang on. So then Albert took those demos to
Those were demos?
Yeah, they were demos.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they became the songs on the album, but we considered them demos.
But they were the record.
They were the record. They became the record.
They were well enough recorded to.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were well recorded.
Yeah. And then, guys around Albert's office like Bobby Newirth were saying, "Man, this is great. This is fabulous."
Yeah.
So Albert went out there and got a deal with Capitol Records, and while he was out there, since he was re-upping Peter, Paul, and Mary's deal with Warner's, he got me a solo artist deal at Warner Brothers. And
All right, he scratched your back.
Yeah, he scratched my back.
Yeah.
I gotta give him that. Yeah, he did. Albert thanks you for that. And then we were on our way. We went out to, they said, "Do we want you to finish this album up, or do you want to do it at Woodstock?" We said, "No, it's January. How about in Los Angeles?" And so we went out there. Went into Capitol Studios out there and recorded one song, and then we didn't record the second song for a month because it was cold in Woodstock, and we were happy being at the Chateau Marmont in Los Angeles in warm weather. So then we went back in there and finished up the album there.
So music from Big Pink was all recorded either in
A1 and Columbia,
A1 or in Capitol.
And the ones at Capitol were Lonesome Susie and Caledonia Mission and When You Awake You Will Remember Everything.
What a great song that is.
And Oli Told Me. That's the same song.
Yeah. What a great song.
Yeah.
So then that record came out, and I know that.
I can tell you one more story about
Okay,
that.
sure, go ahead.
The engineer at Capitol was this guy who looked like Gregory Peck, very suave, Rex Updegraft.
How do you spell that?
Updegraft.
Cool.
Rex Updegraft. And when it was, took the first break from the first recording session, was, "What do you think, Rex?" He said, "Darn cute." never forget that.
Darn cute.
Darn
What
cute.
was he used to recording? Like Nat King Cole and Frank Sinatra or something?
Yeah.
Darn cute. So Bob Ludwig cut the first lacquer for that, from what I understand, and it got back to Capitol, and they rejected it because it had too much bass for them, and they recut it and cut everything below 80 hertz. First pressing of that record is it's still a great record.
Yeah. No bottom.
No, it's been reissued on vinyl, and it's a fantastic recording. Finally, getting its dues. Okay, and that was a success. It wasn't a big seller, but it was a cultural success.
In the music cognoscenti, among musicians,
yeah,
it was huge.
Yeah,
We went out in L.A. We were the toast of the town.
yeah, it was.
Everybody,
bomb.
It was the bomb, right?
It was.
Everybody said, "Man, you guys are doing this, and this is, because they're, like Paul and Artie, for all their talent and everything, were chart watchers. They would see a song in the chart, then listen to it and see, oh, that sounds good. What can we do that's new and then put us up on the top of the chart?
Yeah.
They're very The band had no idea what the charts were. They didn't give a fuck.
Right.
They listened back to Muddy Walters and Bill Monroe and Leadbelly and
eclectic.
Eclectic, Sonny Boy.
Like
and
Dylan
all
was that way too. I mean,
Yeah,
none of these guys were listening in the modern. They were not stuck in their time. They were listening back. They didn't care about time, and that's.
They were in the musical context,
Yeah.
and so the band presented something which is valid to be in the musical context. Because if it weren't for them, there would be no Americana music.
Right.
Because that's what they call that Americana now, but
Right.
Roots music they used to call it.
Right.
Because people would just be off doing this bubblegum stuff and frivolous
Right.
stuff, and sing along, whistling songs, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and they took it back to a whole different thing.
Yeah, and they worked very hard on making sure that what they were doing was worthy of being in that context.
So when you were recording that with them, was it just work, or did it seem like something? That
Oh, it was great fun. It was great fun. I mean, marijuana played a huge part in that.
Still does.
Yeah, it was an era, and so everyone was very happy.
Yeah.
And if we had problems, that we would figure ways around them, and because the five guys all play different instruments at two.
Yeah.
And
Was that minimally tracked, like 4 tracks, or?
yeah.
So it
Was 8-track. By the time we got to the second album was 8-track. The first album was 4-track.
Right. And not a lot of overdubbing.
No, like in Tears of Rage, I remember we overdubbed the tambourine and the horns.
Yeah.
Just because Garth couldn't play organ and thing at the same time. And minimally overdubbed.
So between the first and second album, you did other things?
I probably, I'd have to go and look at my schedule and see. I'm sure I did.
We'll have an appendix.
Yeah. I mean, now we're getting into things that really were important and lasted.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, a lot of things I did that were a lot of fun, like Hearth Martinez, who I love Hearth and I love his music. He was in a guitar shop in L.A. when Dylan was there, and played a bunch of songs for Dylan. Dylan liked him and told Robbie he liked him, and then Robbie produced his first album, Earth from Earth, and then Robbie didn't want to produce the second album, so he gave me his second album, which was called Big Bright Street, so I did that.
And who was that?
Hearth Martinez.
Hearth.
Yeah, Hearth, H-I-R-T-H, Martinez. L.A., great guitar player and funny songwriter. Mothman, Samba, songs like that. I'll
have to look for that.
Yeah, look for the album called Big Bright Street. Some wonderful stuff on there. Oh man.
Great.
Yeah, and other people I did. Rachel Farrow, who's a real good singer, and Cyrus Faryar. But these are people who didn't have any commercial success.
Right.
One thing I'm thinking about doing now that this new young manager has taken an interest in me and gotten me into social media.
Yeah, man.
Is putting out a record a month on my website, a recording a month, and what those would be these things that I like that no one's ever heard of.
Yeah.
That I like a lot.
Yeah.